Day 7. I cannot believe I'm saying that number, but it's here. I had no idea what I wanted to talk about today. That usually seems to be the case. But in the last hour, God showed me very clearly what I was supposed to say. And it's about his promises. Specifically, his promise that he's made to me about this body. That somehow I forgot. But he has showed me ever so gently that this challenge is his way of fulfilling it for me. And with that, it carries a lot of weight. These 3 weeks hold a lot of value because of that. Just because I cannot see my body does not mean I still don't struggle. I still have thoughts about it changing. I still have thoughts about relapse. I still have thoughts about it being too much. I still feel this skin on me. Painfully so. Probably it's more heightened than before. Because without sight, everything's stronger. And I know where those thoughts can take me. I know that one criticism turns into a goal for change. That turns into a plan. That turns into destruction. When you know the way out, and when you know what will give results, when you're in a vulnerable place, it is very hard to not step foot on that path. Somehow your brain and body just get amnesia about what you just walked through. It somehow does not remember at all the pain that you just endured and how torturous it was. It does not remember that those choices were what got you on that path where hate is programmed. And your first thought is to change your body instead of accepting it. That your first thought is that you're not good enough. All it cares about is the immediate results of seeing something different tomorrow. I can plan a relapse in minutes. I'm convinced there's like this file cabinet in my brain that just has stacks of papers of how to do a relapse. Because it comes quickly and it comes forcefully. But yet it comes so passively. Because I can be enjoying life and I can be out with friends and I can be finding happiness. And somehow this thought sneaks in and it starts accumulating. And that day of joy turns into a day of complete hate. And I know where that leads. I know with one choice I could end that. But I also know that I've come too far to succumb to that. In the midst of all the pain and frustration, I seem to have forgotten the promises God has made me. I forgot that he told me that one day I would adore and appreciate this body. That I would look at it in the mirror and smile at it. And just speak words of truth over it. And speak words of love that will never know hate again. That one day I'm going to fall madly in love with who I am. That I'll no longer see imperfections I need to fix. I'll no longer see flaws. One day this body is going to be free. And I will not wake up scared to look in the mirror. And I'll not cry over being bound to this skin. One day I'm going to be more than okay with who I am. But even more than that promise of accepting this body is the promise God has made me about what this body will do. In the screams and in the tears, I seem to have forgotten that God has promised me one day this body is going to change lives. And one day this body is going to set people free. And one day this body is going to speak truth into the world like it's never heard before. One day this body is going to walk through every dream, every purpose, through every single door God opens. One day this body is going to carry me around the world, climb mountains, swim in the ocean, ride elephants, Anything it wants to do, it can do. And it's going to show the world what it means to walk in the glory of God. One day, this body is going to be a light that cannot be extinguished, that reaches the darkest places of the world and the most hurting of hearts. And one day, this body is going to run into callings and chase after dreams and fly into its destiny. This journey is not about the vessel I am in, but the message this vessel carries. It is about being built so I'm ready for when God says go. So that when he says move, I'm ready to move. Because God has promised that one day he and I are going to take off. And we're going to go far. And we're going to fly without limits and unhindered by anything. God has made that huge promise to me. And I tried to make it happen my own way, impatient, anxious for it to come, not fully agreeing with what I would look like for his promise. I tried to put it in my own hands. I wanted to be fulfilled in my own way, that I could travel the world in the body of Jenna 2011. Complete impossibility. But I was trying to bargain with his promise to match mine, my plans. But I know whatever God has promised will not happen on my own terms. God's promises are tied up with what is impossible. People told me I would never recover, that I would be chronic, that I'd spend the rest of my life in and out of hospitals. So I came to believe that I would never see the light. And I came to accept that my fate would be forever struggling, forever trapped. That recovery was completely not possible for me. But it is in what we say we can never do that God pours out his love and grace. We must learn to be patient and to be willing and to trust his timing and his plan. No promise God has ever made has ever been broken. And I'm no exception to that. No matter what I have done, no matter my own promises I've tried to make, or the ways I've tried to make his happen faster in my own way, God is not going to take away this promise from me. His promise is based off of what he does and not what I do. I may try to make my promise happen now, and I may make things more difficult for him. But regardless of how I try to control it, it will always be in his hands. His purpose is unshakable, and nothing will stop his plan he has for me. And nothing will take his love away. He will always find a way. No matter how much I try to change it, no matter how many detours I take, he will always find a way for me to give that promise, for me to live in that promise. So no matter what happens, no matter the darkness I will face, and no matter what awaits me in the days to come, even beyond this whole challenge, no matter what I feel or how scared I may be, for that promise, I'm willing to wait. I'm willing to go 2 more weeks of this. And if he says longer, then longer. But that promise he gave me will be more than worth everything I have to go through.